Alright folks, we are here to learn how to make Uderglaze transfer plates. I have rolled out some clay. This is a slab that was rolled out about an hour ago, so it's been drying a little bit. You definitely don't want to use a slab that you've just rolled out. Please do not use a slab that you have just rolled out. This has been sitting for about an hour. It's still pretty malleable, but it is definitely set up a bit. So I'm preparing this slab by running my rubber rib over in a couple of different directions. I've already done the back, so I'm ready to start. This is the plate that I'm going to be working with. It's 6.5 by 11.5 rectangle. Each of these molds have a small side and a large side. This being the larger side, this being the smaller side. So I'm going to carefully drop this down and take my rubber tip tool and very gently make an outline. This is just basically so that I know where to put my transfer. I'm going to cut some of the edges off, but not to the line. Save your slabs, save them. You're going to need them for the feet of this plate. That is very important. So right now I'm cutting close, but I'm not cutting super close. I'm not cutting to the rubber tip line. And these are going to be safely stored on the side for a few minutes. Lift your template, your form off carefully. And now it's time to begin your transfer. So I've chosen this transfer. You can see that it's dark on one side, or darker on one side, and lighter on the other side. I'm going to use the darker side face down. So I'm going to cut some of these unwanted edges off, the ones that are just blank, because we don't need those. This is a one-time transfer paper. It's printed with Uderglaze, so it will go on the same way Uderglaze goes on. And you can either leave it this color with a clear coat on top, or you can take some Uderglaze, water it down, and use it as if it were like watercolor, filling in some of the open designs. Oops. Alright, so this just fell on there. I'm just going to pick it up carefully. There we go. As you can see, people have used this paper, so it's not a complete sheet, and that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and use the most that I can, so I'm laying it down as close to my edge as possible. And then we'll fill in the bald spots afterwards. I should have cut that off as well, but I didn't, so I'm just going to line it up as best as I can. Alright. So you want to start pushing this down from the inside and move out towards the borders. I like to lay it down just with my hand first, and then I'm going to hit it with my rib. So this is that little bald spot right there. I'm going to take some of this extra from the bottom, and I'm going to fill it in. It's easy as that. Make sure that your birds or your design are going in the right direction. There we go. I think that's the only bald spot. Oh, there's a couple over here as well. So I'm going to lay this down. There we go. And maybe take this little leaf from the edge. because I see I'm spotting another bald spot up at the top, right here. That little leaf, boom. All right, so I've set it down. You can see it's already getting darker, right? You're going to take your rib, a soft rib, make sure it's clean, and again, you're going to go from the inside out. And you're just making sure that these underglaze designs transfer on to your clay slab. I'm not pushing down very hard. I'm just skimming the top, make sure that it trends well. You can start pulling slowly, and if it didn't transfer well, you can lay it back down. So I'll show you what I mean when I do the main part. This is coming off pretty good. Yep. All right. Okay, so here comes the main transfer pull. I'm going to start slowly, and if it doesn't look like it's transferred very well, I'm just going to lay it back down and hit it again with my rib. You always want to move from the center out to the borders. And we'll do it again, so it's looking like it's pretty good. This is a really fun part, which is the reveal. Boom. There we are. So this is done. We don't use this anymore. That is over and out. All right. Okay, I'm going to release this from the board carefully. And I'm going to go ahead and get my form again. I'm going to set it right on the border that I traced previously, carefully. You don't want to move it around too much because it'll smudge. For sure it'll smudge your transfer. And then I take a knife. Again, I just set this down on the long side, and I'm cutting, saving all my strips. And I'm cutting. Save your strips. Save your extra pieces and parts. You can cut with this. I have an X-Acto knife here, but you can cut with a fettling knife. But do not cut with a needle tool and make it all shaggy. Very carefully, you want to lift this form so as to not smudge your transfer. Okay, so we are ready to make our plate.